Hey G fans, it's GojiFan93 here, and welcome back to our review of the Skull Island series. This is going to be episode 7 that we're going to be looking at, and I am here with a few more guests compared to the other episodes. We have Acno Goji here, Godzilla Reader, GojiRex28, GojiFan2001, and Neos Gamer. We are going to look at episode 7 now, and we've all finished the series. Actually, at this point, just a disclaimer, I had some timing issues on my end, so I just basically we've all seen it, we've all finished it, so we're just going to pretty much finish the rest of the series and just discuss like we are normally going to do. So for me, I will say that episode 7, it was probably the most eventful one actually in this whole series. We get, it's like, I like the flashback and we get to see Kong. It actually explains a couple of questions that I had, especially from the previous episodes, something involving the necklace, which we'll see. And this one, I just liked it because we finally got the episode where we just got to see Kong kick ass. Like that's pretty much what this episode's about. All action-packed, really good stuff. So I dug it.
I actually pretty much enjoyed. I think this is probably like the best episode out of the whole series, in my opinion. I think it's pretty good. I do love that they went the opposite route with, you know how in most Kong stuff that the girl survives and Kong dies. They went the opposite route and have the love interest die and Colin survive. I overall enjoyed this episode. It was, like I said, probably the best episode so far. I probably really like this episode.
Well, yeah, I like this episode. It was pretty good. I like the fact that it was, well, like you said, it was eventful. This episode was practically a flashback that basically explains like what's going on with Kong and the necklace thing. And I do think, it was pretty interesting, the interaction between like Kong and that girl, which, no, I don't think there's even a name. It's just, I think even in the credits, she's just like called Aisling or something like that.
Something, yeah, it's not super relevant.
We'll say, it was like, but it is like a pretty tragic backstory for the character.
Mhm.
And we'll agree with you, Akno, that the roots are basically changing since always normally in these King Kong's movies, the girl survives but Kong dies. Here it's basically the other way around. The fact that Kong basically has like the giant bird is practically his ally.
Yeah, that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, which I thought, it was a pretty cool twist. Overall, this episode was pretty great.
It kind of gave me a bit of primal vibes since I didn't understand what since I didn't understand what she was saying. I can detect like the body language of the characters. You can see that she gets annoyed at Kong because Kong is not listening to her, and Kong is getting on her nerves throughout the episode after they get done with those big old chameleon creature things. Overall, I thought this episode was good. Kong in this episode was pretty funny. Like, he just picked up that rock and not gave a shit what she was saying. He was like, I'm just gonna do my own thing or drop this big old rock on him. It was handy in the fight. Like, he crushed one of the chameleons with it. Yeah, overall, I like this episode.
I think this was a pretty good episode, and I like that we get to see Kong again, and we get to see more screen time of him as well, along with him fighting creatures. And speaking of creatures, we got to see the skull crawlers again.
Yes, that was a treat.
Oh yeah, the skull crawlers. Yeah.
Only for a minute.
But it was cool though. I like how they
I'm glad they brought it back.
Honestly, I would say this episode was my favorite out of this whole show. I actually did like what they were doing, where we actually did get to see a little bit more of Kong. Like, this episode mostly focused on him, and we got to see what was going on with his friendship with the girl that was in the episode. And the entire time, like, seeing it, I kind of just felt for Kong, especially by the end of all of it, once we actually saw what led into, well, what makes him depressed during most of this series.
Right.
And then also the fact that I actually like the fact that kind of like what Goji Rex said, that this episode kind of gives me a little bit of Primal and Samurai Jack vibes a little bit, with the fact that this episode for the most part has little to no dialogue, and most of it you kind of get what's going on just from the character's body language, sorry, and the visuals alone. That's one thing that I wasn't expecting to happen in this show that I honestly really liked. Which kind of makes me wish more of the show actually was like this and not just this one specific episode.
Right.
And I also like the fact that we at least got to see how the Kraken emerged.
It does sound like we all love this episode. So, yeah, we start out with something that was unexpected. Again, I didn't know at first it was a flashback, but as soon as I saw like this, the native girl run around, I was like, oh, okay, this might be a flashback. And then all of a sudden we see a skull crawler, which was like, that was a cool surprise. I was not expecting that. I thought that was super cool to see a skull crawler in this, because I was waiting for that. I was wondering, I was like, are they going to show skull crawlers in this show? Because it would make sense, so
no, just one.
Yeah, just one, but that's okay. I think it was perfect the way they did it. So Kong shows up, saves her, and then we get some nice little character development between Kong and the girl. And it's all, it's just nice. It's just really nice. One thing, I'll give the Monsterverse this in every one of the movies, and now I guess including the show. The visuals and some of the scenery is just breathtaking. Like it looks good. I mean, everything that the Monsterverse does in terms of like imagery always looks fantastic. So there's always those nice little screenshots and like potential wallpapers that people can do. So we get the little logo, of course. It's a skull crawler logo, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to present day. We see the little cat looking. No, this isn't present day. That's right. We're still in the flashback. I was thinking of the next episode. So we see this area again. Kong is just another day for him. And then we go to the beach, see some poachers, and she is trying to catch the fish, and then something is going on, and Kong is all funny. He gotten her all worried for a second, but then he starts playing with her, which I mean, I like this. This was so wholesome, seeing Kong see, what I love is the fact that Kong is interacting with these natives, and it's just cool to see that. We don't see that a lot. Kong actually interacting with the natives that I would say quote unquote worship him. So it's just nice to see that he has that relationship with them. And then we see that the falcon bird is pretty much like a partner to Kong. So
I think you mean giant condor.
Well, I mean, it goes by many names.
It looks more like a falcon. It looks more like a falcon.
So we see this thing again, which was cool because again, that was another creature from the movies. So it's nice to see this thing pop up in the cartoon. And so it just seems like things are not going well. And so then Kong and the girl go off to figure out what is going on. And I like this scene. The natives here, they're chanting, go, go. So I thought that was pretty cool. So then we get introduced to these new creatures, these chameleon looking things. And I guess, I mean, they didn't really, I mean, it's kind of interesting here because it seemed like they're pests, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, to give them some credit, they're just trying to survive too. So it's just, I don't know, circle of life going on here. But apparently they're not good. They're bad for business. So Kong has to go and dispatch them, but he wants to take the rock. And what I think was happening here is that he wanted to throw the rock at them right away. And then of course the girl's like, no, don't do that. We need to sneak up on them. And he's like, nah, it's okay. But I think what he did was he changed a little bit because he instead of throwing the rock, he sort of dropped it, and then it landed on one of their tails. So I thought that worked out better for him because then he only had to take on 2 instead of the 3 at the same time. So, and then we just get a giant battle, which again, this was nice to see. We actually got a full-blown fight scene between Kong and these chameleon creatures, and it's pretty brutal. I mean, it's a pretty even match. Tension is here. And we're getting some good shots in. We get to see Kong at his finest here. And there was actually a point where, because obviously we find out that, the necklace is from this girl. So we know she's going to die in this episode. Because we're like, oh, okay, that's why Kong is sad when that one episode when he's looking at the necklace. I thought this was the battle that she was going to lose her life at. So that was kind of cool. I didn't really know when that was going to happen. This part was cool. He, drops from the sky, gets impaled, but he's still alive. And so he's trying to get her with his tongue while he's still impaled. That was pretty cool. Again, I'll give the Monsterverse this. They're always really creative when it comes to either fatalities or just the choreography between the monsters and how they fight. Like, again, the Monsterverse is pretty good at that. So there you go, Godzilla Reader. I'm giving some credit to the Monsterverse. You happy?
Okay, I'll give you. Okay, I'll give you that.
There you go. Exactly. So, yeah, again, it's just a big battle between them. So not much else goes through here, but apparently she's pissed at him for not listening in terms of throwing the rock or whatever. So, they end up like splitting up and going their separate ways, and then he's like, I like how he roars and then she like yells back at him. I thought that was kind of funny. She's like, yeah, she's got some balls on her if she's gonna like scream back at Kong like that. I'm like, all right. So then they go their separate ways. It's a little, and they, Kong's recovering from the battle, and then we get to we see that this is where the Kraken comes from. So the Kraken awakens, unfortunately, and he's looking. And this was so sad. I got like big vibes of that book, Everyone's Afraid of Godzilla, and like Kong's just like sitting on top of the hill. That same image I see of Godzilla just like looking down. He's like, oh, no one wants to hang out with me. So this is kind of a sad moment here. And then the next day, Kong tries to help them again, but ends up making things worse. He like crashes a cart full of like fruit or something. He gets pissed off because he tried to help, but ended up getting yelled at in the end. Then the Kraken shows up and just kills everybody. And it's a massacre. Kong doesn't get there in time, sees everybody's dead. It's very sad. And then he notices that she's dying. And this scene, I mean, like, when he's like holding her here, he brings her back to his like throne room or whatever, and he sees her like dying. This, I mean, like, this is what I mean. Like, this is good stuff.
This
know?
actually made me cry.
Like,
I'm not gonna lie. It actually made me cry.
Right. Like, this is what I'm talking about, Monsterverse. This is what you got to do. Give me a reason to care about characters and all that stuff. Like, you can do it. I know you can. It's sad that a cartoon makes me feel more than the actual live action one. So yeah, very sad. I literally thought Kong was gonna have a tear come from his eye. They could have done that easily. That would have been very manipulative, but hey, it would have worked. So yeah, and then he hangs it up and then buries her, and then yeah, he just screams at the top of his lungs. Kraken's laughing probably in his face, and then that's pretty much it. And then we wake up to present day, and then we're back with Charlie. That's right, he doesn't like to be called Charles. And then he's basically saying, yeah, let's go get Kong. Let's go get him. He's going to chase us back to the Kraken. Then he's going to kill the Kraken and we're going to escape. And everyone laughs at him. But I love how Annie's like, she's just laughing, but she's like, I love this idea. Let's do it. Because that's so in her character. And then, of course, the others are like, no, that's a horrible idea. That is it for episode 7. A really good entry in the series. So I think that if they ever do a season 2, it would benefit if they did more episodes like this where it's more action packed, but this one was really good. So I would say 9 out of 10 for me in terms of a rating on this episode.
I ain't gonna lie, I think this one's probably my favorite, and probably I'll rate it 10 out of 10. It's pretty good.
Yeah, same. 10 out of 10. Definitely the best episode in the series.
I would say is an 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, I think I would probably give this since actually I would give it a 10 out of 10, but I think I would give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay, you sure not a 9.5 out of 10?
No, it's not gonna be.
okay, Chris. Oh, okay.
I'll give this 9 skulls out of 10.
9 skulls out of 10. Oh, you're doing that kind of gimmick too. Okay, all right. Yeah, you guys got these rating gimmicks going on here. All right. All right, cool.
Might as well do it. We're on Skull Island. Might as well do it.
I mean, it's true. You're not wrong. So that was thematically correct. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that'll do it for our review of episode 7 of Skull Island. So yeah, one more episode to go, and then that'll be the whole series. So we're excited how this whole thing wraps up, and we'll see you in the next one. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay big, G fans.